What's the gap between where you are and where you're supposed to be? It's one word, begins with F, ends with Y, has a Q in it. Frequency. That is the gap between where you are and where you're supposed to be. You shift your frequency, you shift your reality. You shift your frequency, you shift your timeline. You shift your frequency, you'll collapse timelines. That's moving it in the right direction. You shift your frequency in the wrong direction, the opposite of everything I just said occurs, which is probably why you feel how you do right now. You're in a good mood, your frequency's high. You're in a shitty mood, your frequency's low. What things affect that? But you can see, even though we could jump really deep into the concept of frequency, which is my whole outlook on life. Life is just a game of frequency, as you would have heard me say many times if you watch my content. The moment we understand that, how fucking empowering is that? Think about a television. Think about a remote controller, and you change the channel. You can go from watching sport to maybe a movie to, I'm not even going to reference the news, shouldn't be watching that shit. But whatever you change channel to, you're literally pressing a button, a signal's being sent to the telly, and the channel's changing. If you consider that the same way that you could change your own frequency within your own being, imagine if you get to a point where your remote control was a press of a button and you could go from being angry and upset and pissed off to calm, relaxed and joyful. Or if you're feeling like you lack motivation, or you're unhappy with the world, or you've had a fight with someone, or you're in your own head, and you can press a button and your frequency shifts to a whole new version of you. Now imagine if you could actually work with your own personal remote to change things up. Like imagine how quickly you could take yourself from where you are to where you're supposed to be. I know this because I'm going through it too, guys, yeah? I ain't got everything figured out. Fucking nowhere near figuring out everything. As you guys would probably be aware, because you're a very educated, deep, wise, crowd and community here watching these videos. But you'd understand that the more you know, the more you realize you know fuck all. And the more you know, the less you know, simply put. And it's ironic that the less you know, the more you think you know. So there's so much for all of us to make sense of still. And the beautiful thing about frequency is it's a never-ending game. Even though life is predominantly that, that's all life is. Every thought, every spoken word, every thought that's not spoken, every word that isn't articulated correctly, every physical desire that is or isn't taken, every other million example I could give you, it's all frequency. You ever hung out with someone you just get along with and you can't work out why? It's their frequency and yours. It's a match, whether it's a soul match and you know each other from past incarnations or future ones to come. Whether it's just you're vibrating at a similar rate, commonality, similar interests, it's all frequency. You know, frequency, guys, for those of you that are maybe new to this stuff or wanting to deeper dive on terminologies, everything's energy and everything's vibrating. The particular rate that it vibrates at, or the speed that it vibrates at, is given a frequency, and that frequency has a numerical value attached to it. Every single thing in our existence is frequency. It equates to what I just said. That's universal law. It's natural law. That's not some Christa Bridge made up law, right? So if you know this, how quickly can you change it? How quickly can you tweak your frequency? This is the work that I do, guys. This is what I literally specialize in. I'm a musician. I've dealt with frequency all my life. I've a random one here, right? The quick little plug, but like I've toured the world performing my music. I understand frequencies inside and out, and the power of music and remedy and medicine that comes from that, and connection. And I've studied the shit out of that. And equally, on the other side of what I've done as an artist, music artist, I understand that frequency with the spoken word and the thought form and the mental side of things and the emotional side of things, I understand the other side too, because when you start engineering frequencies and you see how you can manipulate them and how they change and the effects that it has on people, you start to realize that we have the control center inside of ourselves. And I've been very privileged with what I've done in my life thus far to learn about this stuff without wanting to. It's just being given to me with what I do. Clearly part of what I was here, or I'm supposed to do. So if this stuff is resonating with you, let's dive deeper. Let's dive deeper into it. Shoot me a message. Let's see what you got going on in your world of frequency and what we can change and shift in your world to make sure it's more aligned, feels more coherent, feels more truthful, gives you some direction. Because like I said at the start of the video, the gap between where you are and where you're supposed to be is frequency. Figure out what the gap is in terms of the frequency that's missing or the frequency that needs shifting. Then we work on that. And the answer will reveal itself. Because you're the powerful one, not me. That's you. You're the one that controls this whole stuff. I can just help guide you and direct you and point it out and make the changes needed to transform your world. But it's you who's transforming it, not me. All right. But that being said, shoot me a DM if you want to do some work. All right. The times aren't going to get any easier. The transitional phase that our collective society is in right now is not going to slow down. It's going to amplify and speed up. If you want to be ahead of the curve, if you want to have yourself centered and aligned as an anchor point so that you're not caught in the tornadoes and the mess and the horse shit that's to come for the people living unconsciously, shoot me a message and we can do some work together and set you up in a place where you are nice and centered and good to go and not getting caught in the scatteredness of the world and what's to come. All right? I'm here. My door's open. See you soon.